What is up, YouTube? It's your buddy G here, and I'm back again with another dub chord tutorial. It seems like that's all I do. I should change it up a little bit and maybe do something different. But anyways, this one is a follow-up to my other one that I did in Ableton's operator, mostly because that one was total fail. I mean, it gets the idea across, but I was like half asleep or something when I did it. You couldn't see the mouse. I didn't explain what I was clicking on and why I was clicking on it. So all those who liked it, awesome. Glad you learned something from it. Those you hated it, I can completely understand why. So in this video, we're going to be making a different sound using operator, and I'm going to try to do a better job of explaining what I was doing. So let's jump into it, shall we? Okay, so here's the sound we're going to be making. I'll put a compressor on there so you can hear it a little better. There we go. All right, so let's make that sound, shall we? I'm gonna turn the drums off for now because I don't want those playing. So first things first, I'm gonna right click in here and click Insert MIDI Track. I'm gonna go over to Instruments and select Operator and drag that over. And then let's see what we got here. Right, so got a sine wave going, not quite what we're looking for. Let's go over here to Waveform on A and choose Saw D. And then let's turn these other ones off because we don't need them for today. Right? Single note, not quite what we want. We want definitely a chord of some type, at least a 3-note chord. So to achieve that, I'm going to go to my racks where I've created a minor chord rack. It allows you to change the root note. I'm going to go G minor because that's what I write in. There'll be a link in the description down there, unless YouTube's changed it by the time you're watching this, to download this rack for free. So cool on that. Let me go over what's in here real quick. So it's a MIDI effect that allows you to set the root key, and then a chord MIDI effect that allows you to add multiple notes. So you only have to push one note, but it will generate up to 6 notes off of that one root note. We're only doing 3 because it's a very basic minor chord. And then another key MIDI effect because I just do that for some reason. I don't really have a good explanation for it. I just do it. So we got our minor chord there, but it isn't too high of an octave. Now I use my QWERTY keyboard as a keyboard in Ableton. So on my keyboard, I'm going to tap Z twice, 1, 2 to bring it down 2 octaves. Wow, that sounds pretty close to what we're trying to do, right? So the next thing to do is we are going to go over here to the filter. We are going to change it to MS2, which is an emulation of the MS-20 filter. We're going to leave it at 24 dB, and we're going to bring it all the way down. Bring the res up to around 25, 26. Now we don't hear anything. And the reason why we don't hear anything is because the filter is completely closed. And the only way to hear something would be now to either open up the filter or use a filter envelope. It's very similar to an amp envelope. You know, you have your attack, decay, release, and sustain, not necessarily in that order, that will control how quickly the filter opens up and how quickly it closes and how far it opens up and how far it closes. So I'm just going to take the envelope right percentage here and just move it up. So I kind of get it to where I think it'll sound good. That sounds pretty good. One thing I'm going to do here as well is I'm going to go to the release on this and bump this up to about 1 second or so and go back to the filter. And then we're going to take the decay sounds pretty close. I'm gonna take this and bump this up too. So the filter closes a little slower. And right, we're pretty close. Next is really just the delay and the filter, but there's one other thing that I want to do in here first is I'm going to take this time, well, two things actually. I'm going to take the time, bump this all the way up to 100%. I'm going to take the tone and bump it all the way down to 100%. So it really holds on. So we could probably bring that release down here a little bit. Maybe this one. Maybe 90. So the tone adds some higher frequency, a little bit of higher frequencies, but it also creates some aliasing. And the time, what does the time do? I can't remember. I'll click this arrow here and global control for the envelope rates. So basically it's like controlling the envelopes by adding more to the release time on the envelopes. Let's leave it there for now. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll bring this down to -12 because this thing can overload the filter way too much. I'm going to go up here to Audio Effects, Auto Filter. Now, I do 2 filters on my Dub chord or deep chord or whatever these techno chords or whatever you want to call them sounds are. You don't have to use 2 filters, or you can and you don't have to use a low pass and a band pass like I do. You can do whatever you want. It's up to you. Sound design is all about being creative and doing what sounds good to you. There's no hard and fast way rule of doing something. That's why I'm able to create a million different videos on pretty much the same topic. So we're going to hit bandpass. We're going to put this in 12 dB or single pole. Go to OSR, so I have some drive setting there. We're going to bump the drive up to 6. And then we're just going to pull this guy down to about here for now. It's starting to sound a lot closer now, isn't it, kids? Right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the reverb in there. But yeah, so all right, so let's add the reverb here. We'll just drag it down and pull it in. And I'm going to copy these notes over so we can hear what the reverb's doing as it's playing. So to do that, I'm just going to click on it, hold control down on my keyboard, which is on a PC, and then click and drag it over. I think on a Mac it'd be command or function. I don't remember what the key is on a Mac. I don't use Macs a whole lot. So we're going to hit play on this. And mainly I'm doing this so we can just hear what the settings on changing are doing to the overall sound. So I'm going to bring this over here like this. And this is the input processing. This basically is cutting out all the frequencies that are in here is what's coming. It's going to affect everything else. It's not going to do anything on. So it's like adding a bandpass filter to the reverb. And change quality to high. Bring this down to about 9 o'clock, somewhere in here. Reflect. Bring this up to about 2 o'clock, maybe almost 3 o'clock. 3 dB there. Well, sounds pretty good there. We'll bring the dry wet down a little bit, and maybe up the input delay a little bit. Now the pre-delay is just how long it takes before the reverb actually kicks in. So we're going to get the little punch of the sound first, and then the reverb is going to get the tail of it. Okay, so the next thing we want is the delay. Now I'm using a ping pong delay, and usually when I make the sound, I put the delay before the reverb and not after the reverb. But for this particular sound, I like the way it sounded after the reverb. So let's go ahead and add the ping pong delay after the reverb. And I like this just because it kind of bounces back and forth. You wouldn't really hear that in a live environment because most systems are mono. But listening on headphones or in a car or something like that, I think it makes the sound a little fuller. Right, and I'm going to change it to 50%, and I'm going to turn the sync off because I want this to be a little more organic sounding and emulate more of an analog delay. With that, I'm also going to right-click up here where it says ping pong and click repitch, and this will make it seem more like a tape delay. And as I move this, you'll hear it kind of pitch bending as I move the delay times. All right, that's I think about where I want it. And then I'm gonna, again, with the filter here, this is what's underneath the filter is what's gonna get the delay to it, and what is outside of the filter is not gonna get the delay. All right. Pop this up. Go back to the filter. And we're just gonna put a compressor on the end of it because the reverb can really make it sound a lot quieter than it is. So this will do two things. It'll make sure that it's loud enough for us, and then it's gonna make sure it doesn't get too loud. But I think that sounds pretty good there. All right, now when I'm working on a track, I like to be able to control like the filter for here, and the filter for this, and the decay for the envelope. So I'm gonna add these to a group. So I'm gonna click operator, and I'm gonna shift click auto filter. Then I'm gonna right click and set group, and then bring up my macros here so I can see what's assigned to what. And I'm gonna take this filter frequency, right click on it and click map to macro 1. The decay, I'm gonna map to macro 2, and the filter on this, I'm gonna map to macro 5, just so I know these two are together and this is its own thing. And I'm just gonna bring these up. So I think we need a little more movement in this filter here, so I'm gonna turn up the amount of LFO on it and bring up the speed. And again, I'm not doing it synced to the host because I want it to be slightly off and kind of have a life of its own outside of what else is going on. It just gives it more of an organic feel. So it sounds pretty similar to the original one. So I think we're done for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you thought in the comments of this video. If you learned something, if you didn't learn something, if you like this one better than the other tutorial I did in Operator, that would be awesome too, to let me know. And yeah, if you liked it, thumbs up, thumbs down if you didn't like it. Hit the bell. I think I already said hit the subscribe. I never remember what I say. I should have like a script right here and things to say. Anyways, I've been G, and thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.